Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for listening today. I hope you're all well. Hope you had a good weekend and are all looking forward to the week ahead. A special thank you goes out as well to everybody that attended our event this weekend with Jimmy White coming over, playing in a 9-ball exhibition. The feedback I'm getting is that most people enjoy themselves, good food, good entertainment, and thanks very much. So please keep an ear out in case of any other events offshore investment brokers are putting on in the near future and get involved. If we look at the markets, we saw a negative week across the board, with the Dow down 1.1%, the Nasdaq down 1.9%, the FTSE down 1.8%, the DAX in Germany was down 2.1%, Shanghai was down 1.4%, and Japan was down over 6%. The Japanese market has been somewhere that I've avoided for a long time due to basically not having a real understanding of things, but it all seems a bit of a mess. The yen is ridiculously strong at 103, 104 against the US dollar. That, by the way, strengthened 2.2% during the week when actually they want it going the other way. And the Japanese banks seem to be doing nothing to stimulate the economy and just letting the value of the yen go up and up and up, which of course for an exporting country is not a good thing. Looked at the bundle of four, that took a bit of a hiding last week, down 2.8% in the week. But again, like I say, look at the long-term picture, see what those stocks have done over the last 12 months, and I've got to believe that it's getting you a return that you'd be satisfied with. If we look at the currencies, I mentioned the Japanese yen briefly before. We saw the euro flat at 113. The British pound, because a lot of the falls happened towards the end of last week, actually was up 2.7% in the week and is now at 146. We had an Aussie dollar which remained flat at 134. And as I said, I've already mentioned the Japanese yen. So things out there are looking, not the most favourable. Of course, we do have this Brexit, which is the main reason why we're seeing uncertainty. There's no doubt that Britain leaving the EU will have an impact on the future of economic markets, not just on Britain and Europe, but around the world. And I have to believe that this is causing some of this. Thursday's the day, Friday over here in Vietnam, before we know what the result is. I think after that's happened, at least you'll be able to get a little bit more normality back. I, for one, personally think that it's definitely going to be a Remain vote. I think there's just too many people out there, some polls saying as much as 18% of don't knows. And I think if you're a don't know and you wake up in the morning and you still don't know, then generally you're going to stick with the way things are. And I think it's those people that's going to keep Britain in the EU, which should see a positive impact on sterling and on the UK markets. Although, as I've explained before, either way it goes, I don't see it makes a huge amount of difference when you've got multinationals and good solid companies. It shouldn't really necessarily have a change the way that they do business. So if we look at what's going on in pensions and savings, I always like to mention something on that. I read a fact the other day that on average millennials save 3% of their income versus the baby boomer generation who was saving around 20%. I think we all see these trends in people we know, whether it be our children or whether it be our sisters or whether it be just friends. The millennials are a consumer society. They are spending a lot of the money that they earn. And clearly this trend is not sustainable for the long term. So pension-wise, you need to take control of that situation. You need to make sure that you're in a position that you can get access to your hard-earned money, when you're going to most need it when you get older. I don't think you can rely on a lot of the pension providers and certainly not the state pensions to be able to do that, given what's going on with the world, with people living longer and with millennials and younger people not wanting to save money. That said, that feeds into my favourite themes of consumer-driven companies. Not just do we have people coming out of poverty, like I mentioned quite regularly, and consuming the same things we do, but also these millennials and the next generations are actually, spending their money consuming. And of course, that's good news for companies like Facebook, Unilever, whatever it may be. So on the sporting front, again, I mentioned our little event we put on, which I'm grateful for the support for. In the golf, the US Open, we saw Dustin Johnson win his first major today. or earlier this morning here in Vietnam. I'm happy for Dustin because he's had a bit of a rocky time of it. Although I did have £2.50 on Shane Lowry at 125 to 1. So of course I'm a little bit disappointed that he didn't take the spoils and make myself a nice couple of quid there. So we'll finish with a comment. And again, we haven't had a Warren Buffett comment for quite some time. So I'm going to bring one of Warren's in. And he says, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Again, very simple, but at the same time, it's important that you put your finances in the hands of experts, in the hands of people that know what they're doing, because it's not easy. Anyway, enjoy your week. Get in touch, please. Bye.